Okay. Am I capturing audio from the game? I don't know. So, yeah, sorry about that, folks. I did not even realize that apparently it was... Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, we're good. Sorry, I did not even notice that my mic was not recording. So, yes, hello, welcome. I'm Breakman Z. We're doing the thing. Live, everybody. So yeah, we're seeing what misadventures Alex, our non-binary or gender fluid alchemist, is getting themselves into today. So let's find out. We went to the tavern to go find out information from Michael the Mage, and we start off with, whose legs are we going to break? You really think we can get information here? What's the plan? Well, now let's start off with the whole determined thing. Knowing Michael, he'd say like, "Hey, whoever's legs do you want to break," which is not how we want this to go.
So...
Okay, so we're here. What's the plan? It's quite simple, and mostly involves sitting and waiting. Many of the town's residents frequent this place after hours to complain and drink their sorrows away. It does seem kind of crowded in here. I've noticed those working for this Goldner fellow seem to have more quarrels to drink away than others. So let's try and listen in, see if we can learn a thing or two.
Okay.
That's a good plan. Good thinking, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've been known to be brilliant on occasion. Now, as for passing the time... The mage pulls out a deck of cards and starts shuffling with an easy smile. How about a friendly game while we wait? You don't know what you're getting yourself into here, Michael. Better keep your coin close.
Oh, this will be good.
Ah, confidence, eh? Excellent. Let's have a match, then. Michael deals the cards and Mime sits off to the side, watching you two curiously as you play. As the lights dim outside, more and more patrons make their way into the tavern, but none seem to be Goldner's men so far. You put down your first card and Mime leans in over your shoulder to get a closer look. How pretty! Are all the cards painted like this? Indeed. I got this card from an artist in Erodas as a reward for... Well, that's another story entirely. They are quite spectacular. I especially like his careful attention to the symbolic meaning behind each card. Huh? There's a meaning to it? Isn't it just a picture of a coin?
Let's see.
Once upon a time, humans believed cards like these held magical properties. They would read the meaning behind the cards and take it as a sign of divination. Such things are illegal now, of course, so the symbols that were once commonly known are now largely forgotten. Just one more thing the Empire has destroyed. Not all humans are like that, though. I bet Alex knows some of the meanings. They're really smart, after all. That's very kind of you to say, Mime.
You're the best.
I'm just being honest. You're the smartest human I know, after all. How many humans do you know, Mime? Cut! Damn it, Michael, you almost got a spit take out of me. And that would have been bad landing on the laptop and all. That's besides the point. If you say so. I am curious now, though. Alex has been quite adept at subverting my expectations this far. I wonder just how much of the old meanings have survived. Would you care to put it to the test?
Okay.
Sure, why not? It might turn out to be interesting.
Let's see.
I'm sure it will. Very well, let's try it then. Why don't we start with the card that drew our dear mime's attention? The coin. A card most often associated with wealth, but do you perhaps know its original meaning? Wealth, trust, gold. You know what? It's the sort of thing that oftentimes using real world versions here, just because it's something on the card with tarot reading doesn't necessarily mean the thing that it's supposed to be. Like, for example, the death card, it's not necessarily meant to imply doom and gloom and all that shit.
No. Death doesn't mean death.
Yes. As the little voice in my head decides to speak up and make itself known, I'm gonna.
It also changes meaning based on whether it's upside right or upside down.
Yep. Exactly. So I'm gonna go with the middle here and say trust.
I wonder.
The meaning is trust. A coin is worthless if no one trusts its value. I'm surprised you knew that one. We put our trust in the fact that possessing one of these worthless discs allows us to trade it again. Humans are fascinating, no? Called it. Michael shuffles the cards and draws 3, putting 2 of them face up and the last one face down. The bird gods. I believe you are familiar with the first 2. The sparrow, patron of heroes' tales, and the raven, harbinger of death. These brothers have a third sibling. Do you know who? Ooh, okay. The swan, the nightingale, or the eagle? You know what? The middle road was good to us so far, so let's go with that again.
Actually,
It's the nightingale, isn't it?
Sure thing.
The correct answer. 2 for 2. For someone who isn't supposed to know the old religion, you are quite good at this. The nightingale is my favorite of the bird gods. The patron of storytellers. So feared that even the Empire doesn't dare mess with bards and performers working under his banner. Michael deals another hand and hums to himself, picking out one card and placing it down face up. How curious. Ooh. Mime moves to peer over Michael's shoulder, her golden eyes wide as she takes in the tall humanoid creature with a deer skull for a head. Oh, this fucker. Who's this?
so
He's the father of the forest. One of the gods of the old religion.
Well, I'll be damned.
That's right. Despite his frightening appearance, it is said he is a gentle god, a steward of the creatures in the woods. What is it, Mime? Do you like this card?
You see,
It's difficult to explain, but I just feel sort of sad looking at this. But also happy? This is so strange.
Here.
Well, if you like it that much, you can keep it for now.
Well, I'll be damned.
Our game has concluded, after all, and I must admit defeat. You have proven to be quite proficient at this, Alex.
awesome.
This was fun. Should we play again? Perhaps another day. For now, Mime seems quite entranced by my card, and it would be a crime to stop her. Also, he leans in a bit closer to whisper. I believe our quarry might have arrived. Michael motions subtly as the booth behind you is filled with 3 burly guys, each with a tankard of ale. I can't believe the boss had us act as delivery men. I thought we were supposed to do guard duty, not heavy lifting. Well, you can't expect those scrawny mages to pull their weight. I'm getting a bad feeling about using magic like that, even if it is from the capital. What if the safe is haunted with some kind of witch magic? I suppose it's not our problem, since the boss isn't letting anyone into that precious office of his. I wonder just what kind of stuff he's going to hide in that safe if he's resorted to using a magical one to keep it locked away. Hey there, buddy. Let me give you some advice as your elder and all. You want to keep working for Goldner? You stop asking stupid questions like that. We guard the place, and it's no one's business what he's hiding in there. Understand? Understand. Michael empties his glass of wine with a sly smirk.
How curious.
Seems our evening has concluded. Let us return home, shall we? You leave the tavern. The cold air is a stark contrast to the toasty bar, and you shiver.
Well done.
So Goldner is hiding something. It seems his office is the place for us to go.
Interesting.
That would appear to be the case. But he recently installed some magic safe from the capital? He must recognize the value of the artifact he stole from Caden. This could be trouble, but at least we now know. So we can prepare.
Well, isn't this neat?
All in all, I say this little excursion of ours was very fruitful.
We did it.
I agree. Go team! Woo! Woo!
So, you really are a hunter, huh?
Former hunter. But yes. What about it?
What was it like? Did you save a lot of people? What is
What?
the biggest demon you've ever fought?
You are oddly excited about this.
Why wouldn't I be? Hunters are the keepers of balance in this world. The sword that shields us from untamed magic and demons.
You shouldn't put such faith in fairy tales, Anne.
Hey, wait! What did she mean by that?
Also, Anne, 2 words. Personal space. So let's go ahead and look for her. Your search for Anne takes you to Quinn's shop, and the florist gives you a friendly smile as you enter.
Hey there, you two.
Hey there, Alex. Mime.
Welcome back.
Anne mentioned you would be dropping by. She's in the back. Just be careful where you step in there, okay?
Right.
That sounds kind of ominous. Did something happen? Are you okay? Oh, nothing. I'm sure Anne's got it all under control. I tend to get a bit nervous around tinker magic, though. Too many sparks and moving parts. Anyway, you should go take a look for yourself.
Let's go.
Right. Excuse us. Curiosity and dread settle in your stomach as you make it out to the back and enter what was a storeroom, now transformed into a makeshift workshop. Weird bits and pieces of tools and gadgets are scattered around everywhere, and a huge stack of books is towering ominously in the corner. In the middle of it all, scribbling away, sits Anne, not looking up from her notes even as you enter.
You two. Glad you could make it.
Okay, so Anne is one of the two romance options that I was looking at, but from what one of my friends that's played this tells me, you really only get one. So, you know what? I'm going to pursue as much of the romance options as possible, and if it asks me to choose one, I'm going to go for it.
That's amazing.
Wow, Anne, this place looks amazing. How did you get all this equipment? Thank you. The Academy provides promising students with research stipends, so I had all this prepared and shipped here before I left. It isn't nearly as impressive as the proper research facility I will have access to once I become a professor, but it will do nicely for now. She closes her notes with a snap and hops over to you, eyes glinting with anticipation.
Let me have a look at that locket.
What?
Okay.
Here you are. I'm excited to see what you can find out.
This is amazing.
Thank you, and I am confident this will be great. You hand the locket to Anne, who makes a muffled sound of excitement as she looks it over, forgetting all about you and Mime as she rushes over to her desk. Anne pulls out some different tools and begins poking and prying away at the locket. She's so deeply focused, she doesn't seem to register you at all. This looks like it might take a while. Should we sit down? You find an empty space somewhere on the floor and sit down to wait. Mine makes a game out of stacking books for a while before she dozes off against the pile, leaving you to watch Anne in silence. Her face is scrunched up cutely in thought, and you notice that she taps her foot lightly when she writes, but stops when she falls even deeper into thought. When she tinkers with the locket, her hands move swiftly and efficiently. It's almost uncanny just how precisely she moves. Maybe that's what Tinker Magic looks like.
I'm a genius.
After what must have been almost an hour of silence, the mage finally puts down her tools, stretching her arms above her head with a grin.
Okay. I think I've got it.
What? We got what? Huh? Mime awakes with a start, blushing as she rubs the sleep from her eyes.
That's great.
That's amazing. What exactly have you got? This is indeed a spirit locket similar to the ones used in the past. No one uses them anymore since they run on the energy of spirits, which is taboo.
Oh.
Also, there kinda aren't a lot of us left. The demons you have collected aren't as much sealed away as they are simply absorbed into the locket's power source. This means every demon you collect has in fact added to the total power of the locket. Quite fascinating.
So,
This isn't what I expected, but I suppose if they're kept sealed away from people, that's still the better solution.
oh.
I mean, yeah, keeping them away from hurting people is important. It still feels a bit wrong, though, doesn't it? Using them as a sort of power source.
Actually,
As far as I can see, you haven't actually tapped into the locket's potential yet. You have been using a completely different power source. She looks to Mime, who blinks, pointing to herself. What? Oh, yes, me. I suppose I have been helping you, since we've always felt that glowy connection when we seal one of those bad guys away. You have been using your magic to help Alex all this time, yet you don't feel yourself weakening?
No way.
Well, no. I feel completely fine. Anne taps her chin with her pen before noting down a few more things in her book. Spirit alchemy is already a known school of the arcane, so I will not learn anything new poking my nose down that trail. The fact that you have to rely on another scarce power source that will deplete over time isn't fixing anything, just creating a new dependency. No, the interesting aspect of this still remains you, Mime.
Whoa.
Me?
Actually,
My theory is, since you two are soulbound and not connected through the locket, the energy you channel from Mime isn't draining her. Of course, if you were to do something very challenging, I'm sure you both would be able to feel the strain, but you would recover, just like a mage recovers after having used her powers.
amazing.
In short, your connection has given Alex the same magical potential a mage possesses. I'm a mage? Does this mean I can cast spells as well? I suppose with the right training you would be able to use magic much like mages do, using the locket as a focus, of course, but that's just a theory.
Yikes.
We really have to find a way for us two to get unbound again.
You do realize.
Well, I wouldn't recommend that now, since we still need you two to be connected to seal away the demons we'll undoubtedly come across. Spirit magic, soul binding, creating mages. These all scream taboo, but I must admit, finding a way to equip non-mages with magical potential would really change how we all think about magic.
If magical items didn't need a power source, but people themselves could just power them on their own. Such a discovery, even if not put into practice, would be quite an achievement. Enough to grant me my title for sure.
While, in theory, I could see this being a solution, there's no way someone isn't going to abuse this. I just provide the research that says it's possible. What humanity decides to do with this knowledge is not my problem. Ooh, okay. Do we agree with her that says that it isn't her responsibility? Or do we call her out on her bullshit and say, yeah, you're responsible for what you create, bitch? You know what? I am going to roll a d10. If it comes up odd, we'll go with the top option. If it comes up even, we'll go with the bottom option. Came up a 2. We're calling her out on her bullshit. This might close the romance options for us, but oh well. You can't just dismiss your responsibility like that. Sounds to me like you're just making excuses because you don't want to admit anything bad might come out of this. Is your professor title worth that much to you?
Believe this.
You have no idea what that title means to me. You don't know me or what I've gone through to get this far. If I don't claim this discovery, someone else will eventually. So I'm not going to hold myself back just because the rest of humanity is a bunch of morons. Well, she does have a point there. She hands you back your locket. That's all I wanted to research for today. Thank you for your cooperation. I'll be calling upon you again when I need to learn more. I think that's our cue to go. You and mine leave. On your way out, you notice Anne returning to her little mountain of books, massaging her arms with a pained expression.
But tell me, Anne, what was life like at the academy?
Why do you ask? I thought you were confident the academy was a horrible mage prison.
Yes. But that doesn't mean I know how you felt growing up there. I thought your perspective would be valuable to consider.
That's rather pragmatic of you. Very well, I'll bite. The academy is a wonderful place. A safe haven for mages to study and research without fear of the ignorant masses who wish us harm. Everything is in perfect balance, just like Isaac intended. Does that answer your question?
It certainly confirms that they brainwashed the lot of you. That's for sure.
That's it. I'm done talking to you.
It's your own fault for engaging with him, Anne. And heading back into the flower shop to talk to Quinn. You recognize the guard from yesterday talking with Quinn at the counter.
Here you go. These flowers will be sure to make your fiancé smile.
I'm glad.
I know they will. It's been a while since I brought her any, after all. Thank you, honestly. I'm so... Listen, I'm not good at this, but I realized last night that I had let some baseless rumors get to me, and I want to apologize. What? Oh dear, no, there's no need for that.
You see.
But there is, though. I might not have said it to your face, but I've thought some pretty horrible things, and I don't know what came over me. There's no excuse. I am sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. I accept your apology.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'll be off. Time to present these to Louise. Have a nice day. The man walks past you, giving you a pleasant smile before he leaves. It didn't look like he recognized you at all.
About that.
That's probably because we defeated Ronan yesterday. By weakening the host demon, he probably lost his influence over that guy, and he returned to normal, just like all those people during the fire.
That's great.
It's great. Maybe that means there's hope for Ronan yet? I wouldn't go just that far just yet. There's quite a difference between being in a frenzy and actually being possessed. I do agree it's good news, though. We did something good.
Welcome back.
Alex, welcome. How's your mission going?
About that.
So that guy who just left?
Ah, yes. Quite sweet, wasn't he? I haven't had anyone come and apologize to my face like that before. Ah, how refreshing. Maybe there's hope for me in this village yet.
You're so kind, Quinn. I'm glad to see it worked out.
Thank you.
Ah, thank you, sweetheart. I'm quite happy with how it turned out as well. I'm not going to lie. At first I was kind of hurt. You've been one of my most loyal customers after all. But if he's made an effort to better himself and even came here to offer his apologies, well then I want to support that. The world has enough hate in it already, and I've always found it exhausting to hold a grudge.
I'm glad.
I agree. I wouldn't want to go around carrying that kind of grudge myself. Forgiveness is almost like magic in its own right. It isn't much, but it is a thing only you can control, and in that sense, it has power. I'm glad this turned out well.
Tell me about...
Did you learn anything from the samples I brought you? Yes. I should have known you would ask about that. The answer is both a yes and a no. I am confident after communing with the soil that it was no fire. The branches told me no disease had killed them either. It is quite strange. Almost as if the very life of them was drawn out in an instant. They felt no pain, no fear. One moment they were living, and the next they were not.
I'll do it.
We have to find out what happened. I'm sure it's connected to the demons and everything else going on.
So that's how it is.
It does seem to be connected. Such powerful magic doesn't just show up out of nowhere uninvited after all. It's definitely not anything that would ever be approved at the Academy. But that is all I can say for now. I hope it proves useful.
I'll be off then.
That's all I need for now. I'll see you later, Quinn.
Take care.
You're always welcome, Alex. Take care.
Here you are, Mime.
This is a sweet roll? But why?
I noticed you were shooting the baking stall longing glances earlier. Given you can't actually reveal yourself, I figured I could swap it for you.
Thank you so much. You're so kind. Wait, you did pay for this, right?
Well, you can't expect me to do more than one good deed in a day, can you?
Michael?
Yeah, that sounds about right for Michael. Hey, let's check in on Caden. Yay! You can't find Caden anywhere in the shop. Instead, you run into Elizabeth near the storage room, looking troubled.
Welcome back.
Ah, Alex, there you are. Do you have a moment? I just forced our newest guest back to bed so he could rest properly. He was exhausted, even if he hid it well. It's clear his stay at Goldner's was far from pleasant, and his run-in with Ronan wasn't much better. I have the recipe ready for a potion that might help him recover faster. Can you be a dear and go make it for me and give it to him?
I'll do it.
Of course. I'll do it right away.
Thank you, dear.
I've written down the recipe here. Cool! New potion! Oh no, wait. It's just a healing potion. I've done this before.
Well done.
There we go. A 4-star healing potion. You make a potion for Caden. You enter the storage room that has been hastily rearranged into an extra guest room. There are no windows and the walls are lined with shelves. It's easy to make out the glowing lines of Caden's arm in the dark. Yeah, dude pretty much is a walking nightlight. The cot he's sleeping in is a far cry from a proper bed. By the look of how he's snoring away quietly, it's miles better than whatever conditions Goldner was keeping him in. You know what? I'm going to do the nice thing, and I'm not going to wake him up. He seems to be content for the time being. I'm just gonna... You sneakily You sneak quietly into the room and move to put the potion by a shelf near his head, when a hand suddenly shoots out and grabs yours. What the? Who are... Caden sits up, disoriented, his iron grip on your wrist not loosening. You ignore the sting in your wrist and lean in closer to observe him.
Are you okay?
Hey, are you okay there? You shouldn't get up so quickly. You'll just hurt yourself. Your gentle tone seems to calm the disoriented patient some, and you sigh in relief as he loosens his grip on your wrist. My apologies. I seem to have... I didn't see you come in. I'm just still not used to you people being so dark. Yeah. I guess that makes sense. We look pretty outlandish to you. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend. Are you offended? This is all so confusing. How do you properly communicate like this? It might be confusing right now, but I'm sure you'll manage. You're already doing great, honestly.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is a comforting thought. How are you doing, Caden? You look a bit rough. I will be fine. You don't have to worry. I refuse to slow down our mission. Please don't push yourself. We'll be fine, even if you take the time to recover properly. You say that, but never mind.
Tell me about...
I've never met an Outlander before. These markings of yours, just what are they? The markings are veins of magic that run through my body. My people are all born with them. They are as natural to me as your face is to you.
Really?
Wait, they're magic? Does that mean you're a mage?
Well...
I have never studied the art of magic, but all Outlanders are capable of using it to some extent. Like the ritual, well, no reason to dwell on that.
What do you mean?
You mentioned that I was difficult to understand because I don't have markings. How does that work exactly? Do you talk with your markings?
How does this...
That's a bit difficult to explain. The magic in our skin reacts to bursts of emotions. Some might be able to stifle the reaction, but to most it's an automatic response beyond our control. These visible cues, therefore, give a clear indication of the Outlander's state of mind. We use them to read each other, especially in the dark where body language is, well, not available.
So...
I've brought you a potion to help you recover faster. You hand over the potion, and Caden observes the thick liquid curiously.
Huh?
You're an alchemist? How curious. I've never seen alchemy used in practice before.
You see...
Elizabeth is the mastermind behind this particular recipe. It's very effective, but the taste may leave something to be desired. Caden pauses in his uncorking of the bottle.
How curious.
I see. From what I've seen of the master alchemist, she appears to be a formidable woman. To get such high praise from her pupil, she must be a great teacher as well. I'll take this later, then. Thank you for the potion, and for talking with me. Between you and Elizabeth's watchful eyes, I'm sure I'll be back in good spirits before we make our attempt at getting the artifact back. You step up closer to the Outlander and give him a cheeky smile. Yeah, I'm not gonna play. Caden does look like a pretty boy, so yeah, we're gonna be all flirty with him. Anytime, Caden, and I mean that quite literally. You wink, and the Outlander seems taken aback. His marking's turning a bit warmer. Aw, is Caden blushing? I think Caden's blushing. Well... You laugh and waltz off, leaving him to his rest.
I must admit, I'm a bit envious of that invisibility spell you use, Mime. To disappear from sight even in bright daylight. Not even the Nightwalkers can do that.
It's not really that great since it only works on non-magi humans, but it beats having to hide away all day. Sorry about that.
It's okay. It was my own recklessness that landed me in this situation after all. Hopefully, once all of this is over, I'll have the chance to explore the world of daylight on my own.
I hope so too. If you want to, I'll share all the interesting spots I found with you.
That sounds great, actually. I'm looking forward to it.
Alright, well, let's start talking to Elizabeth. You find Elizabeth in the shop, and she looks up from the book she was reading as soon as you approach.
So that's how it is.
So I hear you and the others are heading out to do something illegal.
About that.
I'm going to need your help. We need a way inside Goldner's mansion without being detected.
I see.
That's my understanding, yes. Very well. I may have something you can use. It's a highly secret recipe of mine. We don't sell this in the shop. A Potion of Invisibility. I was wondering if the old brain could remember this, but I managed to note it all down. The potion allows the one consuming it to pass by unnoticed for about an hour. Goldner's goons won't notice a thing.
That's great.
That's perfect. This is just what we need. How do we make it? Well, there is a catch, just like with everything else. This potion demands ingredients we do not currently have in stock. Quinn might be able to supply us with some, but we might have to get a bit creative in how we obtain the rest. I have the list of ingredients here, so take it to Quinn. They might have ideas about where to find the rest as well. When you've collected it all and you're ready to go, come see me. The potion must be consumed soon after it's made, so you should have made all your other preparations before that. Of course, I'll still be here to assist you, should you wish to do some regular alchemy training. I'm sure Quinn is stocked up on new ingredients by now, so we should be able to look into making even more new recipes.
Actually,
I see.
I wonder.
If you knew about this recipe, then why have you never taught me? Well, this potion is not exactly part of the standard alchemist's portfolio. My intention and ambition were always to educate you so you would never have to use anything like this. But things have changed, which is why I now share this with you. Are there any other neat potions I should know about? Like a go-away demon spray, or fix broken magic seal glue? Trust me, if I had solutions to those, then you would be the first one to know.
Tell me about.
How did you come across this potion? This can't be something that's found in any old recipe book.
I see.
That's a simple enough question to answer, as I was the one who made the recipe. You made this? That's incredible.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you. Though I am not nearly as impressive as you might think. Alchemy, at least the kind practiced in the Empire, is not as ancient as you might think. I might have been around your age when the first whispers of spirit alchemy began circulating. There was a great deal of experimenting done in those early years, and I have always been a curious soul, so I made quite a few discoveries on my own. Nowadays, though, such experimental brews are not considered proper magic anymore. Therefore, they must remain a secret. Okay. Okay, yeah. Already did all that, and that, that. Yeah, there's nothing new for me here.
I'll be up. Good luck.
You leave the shop and find Kim waiting for you outside, the small kid wringing his hands nervously.
Hi.
Oh, hi, Alex.
Did you find anything?
Sorry if I was just wondering how it went last night. Did you find out anything about my brother?
I'll tell you what happened.
We found him, but we couldn't bring him back just yet. But don't worry, we'll get him back to you for sure.
It's okay.
Thank you. That's so kind of you.
It's okay.
I won't give up hope. Ronan will come back to me, I'm certain of it. Thank you again. Kim leaves and the door to the shop opens, Mime poking her head out.
Oh.
Poor kid. I wonder if there's some way we can separate his brother from the demon that possessed him. I mean, if we can do that with him, that might also help us to get separated.
We have to help.
We're going to keep looking. Somehow we'll get Kim's brother back, for sure.
Then that's a promise.
That's the spirit. Let's do our best.
So, how is freedom treating you, my friend?
Better than the chains, for sure. But it's still rather stifling.
Getting tired of fighting in the shadows, are we?
It can't be helped. If I act carelessly and am discovered again.
Discovered being the key word here. No, I do happen to have quite a bit of experience with hiding in plain sight.
I believe it's a little easier for you to blend in.
Have you seen my clothes? I think I can work around a bit of glowing skin.
Victoria is not going to approve.
I again will refer back to the word discovered. But of course, if you are not curious about how the town looks from outside this little shop.
Okay. Let's go.
Oh, Caden, don't go with Michael. He's a troublemaker. Although if he does find a way to, help out with the whole glowing skin thing, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'll start talking with Caden again. You find Caden standing by the window in the shop, looking out at the people walking past.
Hi.
Hey, Caden. How are you doing?
Thank you.
I'm alive and grateful for that. But this is not how I imagined things would go when I left my home weeks ago. I'm still shocked, honestly, that a problem this simple would be this difficult to solve.
About that.
Things might look bleak now, but we're not going to fix things by sitting idly by. We can only work hard to try and change things.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think I needed to hear that, and you are right. Caden turns his gaze to the outside, lightly reaching up to tap his fingers against the glass.
I have spent the entirety of my life in my home in the mountains. I've read about the sky and sun, about clouds and stars. They are even more impressive in person than I could have ever imagined. The first time I saw the sky, I almost felt like it would swallow me whole. However, you humans do not seem to care for it. No one barely gives it a glance. You all hide away in these houses with brick and glass obscuring its beauty. Why?
Well, the short answer is that it's practical. Shelter is needed to stay safe. The world may be beautiful, but it's not without its challenges. That is true of anywhere, I suppose. I guess the novelty wears off when this is the environment you grow up in. Perhaps you would feel the same if were you to visit my home in the deep underground. If that's true, then the only way to experience this wonder is to travel to someplace new. Is that an invitation? You should know that if I come to visit your home, I expect the grand tour. If we succeed in my mission, then I'll owe you much more than a tour of my home. Let's hope we get the chance. I will be looking forward to it. What can you tell me about the Outlands? Well, first of all, we don't call them the Outlands, much like we don't call ourselves Outlanders. The mountain region to the west that we call home is called Drakenheim, Drakeheim, home of the dragons. My people are the Ijoma, and we call your people the Dags. We're a reserved people, proud, rarely straying from the mountains we call home. There's no need to. The ground beneath the mountains is rich. We sometimes trade with the Dags in the plains, but only rarely does anyone other than the Nightwalkers leave our home for the outside.
What do you mean?
You call us Dags? What does that mean? Some believe it's an abbreviation of Day People. The Ijoma are the Light People, and the Himen up north are the Sky People. All three are people, or humans, which makes it rather confusing to us when you Dags use human to refer to yourself.
I wonder.
How can we all be humans, though, when we're different races? It's also only the Dags who believe that. Both the Ijoma and Himen hold records that our three people were once the same, the humans. Though that was a long, long time ago. In a galaxy far, far... Oh, wait, sorry. Huh. I've never heard about this. I wonder why. I'm wondering the same thing. The more time I spend among your people, the more I realize our two societies look at the world differently. It's unsettling that something that's such a clear fact to me isn't so for so many. Who are the Himen? I doubt you've ever met one, if you have. There are people living in the mountains far to the north. They used to travel quite a lot, trading with the old Dag kingdoms. After your empire was formed, however, they retreated to their home and closed their borders. I've never met one myself, but I've heard they are a free-spirited and proud people. Some say they even grew wings so they could fly among the eagles, but it's hard to tell if that's true or just an exaggeration.
I have some questions.
I'm curious about those markings of yours. I can imagine. What do you wish to know?
So,
I'm wondering about the colors. Yours seem to be blue mainly, but sometimes they shift. Is that how it works for all of you?
Actually,
Ah, well, the change happens to all of us. At least those who can't control their emotions. The base colors vary, though. Blue is one of the more common ones. Does the base color mean anything?
well,
Some believe so. There's a prevalent superstition among some of my people that certain skills and personality traits can be attributed to our resting hue. Those with red hues are more aggressive. Green makes for better leaders. Yellows are light-hearted. That sort of thing. What do you believe? Is it true? I believe if you've been told your entire life that you are an angry person, then you are probably going to be angrier. There are some who benefit from such beliefs. Elders who guide the young based on their hue. Matchmakers who are paid to gauge romantic compatibilities. I suppose some people just yearn to be told who they are by someone else.
I'll be off then.
We should go.
I'll be here if you need me.
Okay, I will see you later then.
You are rather expressive compared to the other Outlanders I've met, Caden.
You've dealt with my people before?
The hunters sometimes did business with the Nightwalkers. I've never spent much time with them myself, but even from afar, you get the impression that they're a stoic group.
To put it mildly.
What was that?
Nothing. My, what interesting topsider architecture. I'll just go take a look at that.
What in the world?
Yeah, just... What's up with that, Caden? Alright, so let's go see Quinn again.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
So,
Did you perhaps get some new supplies in? I have this list of ingredients from Elizabeth we need for a potion. Can you help us with any of it? Huh. This is quite the odd selection of herbs. I don't think Elizabeth has ever asked me for any of these before. How curious. I can provide you with the roses, however. The blue corn flowers are not something I usually sell. They should be growing in the forest, but they are quite shy, so they might be tricky to find. Maybe there's someone around who knows the forest well who can help you out.
I'll be off then.
Take care.
I've noticed you staring out the window sometimes. You should be more careful other people don't see you.
Oh, right, of course. I'll be careful.
What were you even doing there? You were just staring out of the place?
I never got the chance to properly explore this place. This is my first time experiencing a surface town. I'm itching to explore it. You're also new to this place, aren't you? Don't you feel the urge to go look around?
No.
That was a decisive answer.
Why should I waste my time? There's nothing of interest to me here, and I'll be leaving soon.
There's always something to be learned from any new place you go to. Walking amongst the townsfolk might give you a new perspective of them.
No, it won't.
I wonder what happened to you, Anne.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it just seems like there's a reason why Anne is the way she is. Well, let's set up the market. You find Victoria near the town square, and she isn't alone.
Please help me.
I beg you, ma'am, please help me. You are a hunter, are you not? I recognize the sword you are carrying.
No.
I'm sorry, I cannot help you. What's going on here? Did something happen?
I can't believe this.
Something is always happening, but we are on a mission, remember? The man looks nervous as you approach, but stays put.
I need your help.
Please, my daughter has been missing all morning. She was playing with the other kids in the meadow, but when the rest returned for lunch, she wasn't with them. And what is it that makes you think this is a job for a demon hunter?
Well,
The other kids said that Marie had already gone home, but there was something off about them. Off? Like there was something that they weren't telling me, as if something had scared them. Why would they lie to you?
you see,
I brought Marie with me to this town to work in the mines years ago, but we're still considered outsiders. People out here can't understand why someone born and bred in Erodas would have to travel to the boonies to look for work. I don't get that someone like me without any name or fancy education is about as welcome on the posh streets of the capital as mages are out here. I took us here to give Marie a better life, a simpler life. How did it go so wrong?
About that.
We can make time for this, Victoria. It's the right thing to do. Oh, Theros' mercy, I know that. She looks up at the man, who flinches at her intense stare.
Look.
We'll look for your daughter, but I won't make any promises. The man lets out a deep relieved sigh.
thank you.
All I ask is that you try. Thank you. I will continue to look around town for her. Please, find me if you discover anything. Victoria sighs and rolls her shoulders. Let's go then.
Really?
So, do you think this missing child might have something to do with the demons?
About that.
I can't rule it out completely, but I have my doubts. It is quite common for a parent with a lost child to approach the demon hunters for some kind of magical explanation. Usually the kid is found hours later, safe and sound, too busy playing troll hunter to realize they lost track of time and missed dinner.
Got it.
I suppose that makes sense. Kids are often a lot tougher than parents give them credit for.
Well,
Let's hope it's just a bad case of losing track of time. If we're lucky, maybe she'll let us join in a round of troll hunter when we find her. Are you not too old for this?
I wonder.
Did you get lost playing in the woods as a kid as well, Victoria? I bet you were super cute, running around with a little toy sword chasing trolls. I did not. I mean, I was working diligently from a young age to master the skills needed to join the demon hunters. She was totally playing troll hunter. That, of course, includes sword training, among other. That all sounds like playing to me.
I'm not getting paid enough for this.
Yeah, I sympathize with you, Victoria.
That sounds nice.
Sounds like you were very dedicated even as a kid. That's impressive.
I see.
Thank you. Though, looking back now, there was nothing too impressive about it. Turns out trading by yourself with no guidance isn't that effective. I had to relearn everything from scratch as soon as I entered the guild. But it was my dream.
Really?
If you loved it so much, then why did you leave? Oh no, I'm sorry, Victoria. I didn't mean... I said something bad just now, didn't I? Please forget it. Let's talk about something else.
About that.
It's fine, Mime. I think it's about time I gave you some kind of explanation. Oh, an explanation as to why you have a giant stick up your ass? I used to be a hunter in training. However, I never completed the final test to get officially initiated. That is why I possess the skills of a hunter, but I'm no longer a part of the guild, and instead work as a knight for the Empire.
I wonder.
What happened? You seem like someone who's always excelling in all that you do. It's hard to imagine you failing at anything. What happened isn't important. Just know that the hunters were within their rights to throw me out, and I accepted that decision. After I left the hunters, I was struggling. I didn't know what to do, so I found myself drifting. That's when Althea approached me. She took me in, mentoring me, and I became a knight working under her instead. And that's how I ended up here.
That sounds nice.
That was very kind of her, taking you in like that. Kind, huh? I'm not delusional. She saw the potential in having a knight with my skills working under her. I'm still grateful to her. She gave me another chance. I'm not going to waste it.
I see.
She must be very precious to you after helping you out like that.
About that.
I am grateful, and I respect her. She is a good leader and commander, the kind I can only aspire to be one day. She shakes her head. In any case, let's just drop the subject. Now come on, we've wasted enough time on this discussion already. You continue your trek through the woods, finding no sign of the lost child. The meadow is blooming with spring flowers. Leaves dance in the slight breeze to the hum of bumblebees. Your eyes look across the sea of colors, and finally you spot a mess of curly red hair.
Huh? Well done!
Oh, there she is. You were right, Victoria. Careful. She is not alone. Who are you?
Hi.
Hi there, Marie. I'm Alex, and this is my friend Victoria. Your dad sent us to come find you. He's been looking all over for you. He's quite worried.
Well...
But I can't go home just yet. My friend says I can't leave.
Huh?
Your friend. From behind the girl's hair, a small glowing creature steps out.
Whoa!
A fairy! What is it doing out here? Nothing good, that's for sure. Careful, Marie. Step away from that thing. What are you doing? Don't hurt him. He's my friend.
What do you mean?
You say he's your friend?
Well...
His name is Wispy, and he's my best friend. He scared away all the mean kids and played with me all day. But now he doesn't want me to leave. He says it's bad back in town.
Really?
That's a fairy? I thought those were supposed to be extinct.
About that.
Seeing them these days is incredibly rare. They tend to avoid humans at all costs. This one must have gotten lost or been lured here by something.
Tell me...
Mean kids? Are you talking about the other kids from town?
You see...
Dad said I should try and get along with everyone, but no one wants to play with me. They call me a stupid city girl and pull my hair. One of the big boys said he wanted to cut my braid, and I got really scared. But then Wispy showed up and scared them all off. The fairy must have been curious about the kids playing, and then taken a shine to this one. This is bad. Fairies are obsessive creatures. If we don't destroy it, it will never let the child go.
You think so?
Are you sure? It seems like he just wants to keep Marie safe from the bullies. Maybe if we talk to him, we can convince him that she'll be safe with her father?
No.
I don't really think the fairy is willing to believe a human.
Maybe, but...
But maybe I can convince him? That's...
So,
Anyone got any bright ideas on how to fix this?
this is the plan.
If you can create some kind of distraction with your alchemy, then I'll deal with the fairy. You will do no such thing, human. You all jump when the voice, though not truly a voice, more like a feeling vibrating through your being, enters your mind. You will leave now. This child is mine. I'm not letting her go. Wispy? Stop it. You're scaring me. Alex? Wait, let me talk to him first. Maybe we can sort this out without anyone getting hurt. Mime's path going forward. No. Let's let him talk. Spirit to fairy.
Okay.
Okay, Mime. We're counting on you.
Thank you.
Really? Okay, I'll do it. Just be careful.
Hello.
Okay. Mr. Wispy, sir. Tell me why you won't let the child return home to her father. Please? She is my child now. I will be the one to protect her. She stays with me. But don't you think she'll be safer with her family? Human children are not made to survive in the forest. She's safer here. The human village has been tainted. We must all flee or be swallowed by the nightmares.
I see.
Is he talking about the demons? I am human. Your kind has dug too deep, and now you reap for what you sow. But this child does not have to suffer for the mistakes of her father.
Hear me out.
Yep. Again, let's let Mime do her thing. It's true some humans have done some really stupid things, really. But we are trying to fix it. Me and the humans, together, are working to put things right. You? Who are you? You carry the mark of the forest on you, yet you help the humans. Why?
About that.
Because I believe they are trying really hard to fix things, and I want to help them succeed. You reek of human magic. To think a child of the king would stoop so low as to bind herself to a human. The king? What are you talking about? There's nothing left for me to say to a traitor. The fairy suddenly flares red, its face drawn into a demonic snarl. The fairy flies at Mime, but Victorious quickly steps in front of her. She doesn't have time to properly reach up and guard, so the fairy cuts into her hand with claw-like fingers, drawing blood. Son of a... She throws the creature off, and with a swift swing of her enchanted sword, cuts through it. It disappears in a cloud of sparkly smoke. There's a moment of silence. Then Victoria sheathes her blade.
Tell me.
Mime, are you alright?
Everything's just
Vic-
too much.
Victoria, I'm so sorry. Oh no, your hand. This is my fault. If I hadn't insisted on talking to him, It was a fine idea. Huh?
Look,
We managed to get the fairy away from the child long enough for me to dispose of him safely. You did good, Mime.
Thank you.
Victoria. I don't understand. Wispy, why did you... I want to go home. Victoria sighs and scratches her neck. I'll take her to her dad. He'll need an explanation for this. Marie will too once she calms down.
time to go.
I'll see you at the shop later.
That seems odd.
Victoria, she thanked me. It feels kind of good to be useful to someone like this. Anyway, we should probably be off as well, yes? Good on you, Mime. But now we have more questions to try to figure out the answers to. Like, what was all that talk about daughter of the king? Okay, this is going to be interesting when we find out. And now we head to the woods.
About that.
So, a blue cornflower. Quinn mentioned that we should try our luck in the forest. Maybe we should just try and go together. The forest, huh? And are you sure we're only going because of the flowers? What? Of course we're going for the flowers. Why else would we... Okay, fine. You got me. You know how I told you Victoria found me in the wilted forest? Well, I don't remember how I got there. At all. I have this feeling there's something important that I am forgetting. But I just can't quite pin it down, you know? But I have this really strong pull towards the forest. I can't quite explain. I just thought since we need to look for flowers anyway, then I might do a little digging myself, right?
Okay.
Sure, that's a great idea. Let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. The forest surrounding Anemone Valley is lush and vibrant in the early spring. The ground is covered in bright green foliage, and the anemone flowers the area is named after are just about ready to bloom. Elizabeth mentioned that this town holds a celebration when the flowers bloom out here. That sounds really lovely.
I love it.
It's great. Everyone celebrates in the square with food and music. Then when the sun goes down, people go out into the forest to look at the flowers.
That seems odd.
Looking at flowers in the dark? That sounds a bit difficult. The flowers absorb some of the energy from the crystals in the mines below us. So when they bloom, they glow with magical energy. It's like stars, but on the ground.
Really?
Really? That sounds so romantic. I would love to see that. Though, it probably isn't that smart if the whole town is out celebrating. Mime lets out a pouty sigh.
I wonder.
What about you, Alex? Will you go? Ooh, will you go with someone? Mime's words strike a chord within you. Is there someone in your life you'd like to bring to such a festival? Okay, this is a big thing of just like, do we want to admit that we got the hots for someone? Or do we want to keep it all bottled up like a shut-in or someone in the comments on YouTube? Well, let's just go for it. You find yourself smiling softly as the thought of that person enters your mind. What? You're smiling, Alex. So there really is someone you like?
Actually.
There might be. I'm not telling, though. Really? But now I'm really curious. That's no fair. But fine. Alex, your secret's safe with me. Oh. Mine rushes forward and crouches down near a tree where a blue flower is growing in the shadows. Look here. Isn't that the one we're looking for? That's so lucky. You have to agree. This particular flower is incredibly rare, and the two of you have been barely searching for an hour. It almost seems too convenient. There's a rustle of leaves, and you whip around, spotting shadowy antlers moving away from the clearing. A deer?
Are you okay?
You okay there, Alex? Mime approaches before you, arms full of flowers, but a slight concern in her eyes. You're looking a little pale all of a sudden. Something wrong? The deer is gone, and the unease in your stomach settles. You shake your head.
I'm not so sure about this.
That was so weird. I was sure I saw something moving just now.
You think so?
Something move? I mean, it's the forest, right? So there are probably animals here. Yes, that's it. You probably just saw an animal. Nothing spooky at all. I didn't really find anything that could point me in the direction of my past. Honestly, this part of the forest doesn't trigger the same feeling of longing, the same way the dead forest does. I wonder why that is. Anyway, we should head back before Victoria gets suspicious. Let's take these to Elizabeth. The two of you return to the town with your bounty. You have the potion you need. Are you ready to go to Goldner's Manor? Yeah. Yeah. Alright, let's do another chat with Elizabeth before we...
Welcome back.
Actually.
I see.
Yep. And... Oh! Rose! We have a rose now. What can we do with a rose? Oh, use a volatile ingredient. Ooh.
Careful when you add that.
Be careful when mixing the volatile ingredients. The mixture will explode if a volatile ingredient comes into contact with another volatile or an identical ingredient.
You did it!
Alright, 5-star strong headache remedy.
Oops.
Okay, so
I'm proud of you, dear.
yeah, that's strong mosquito repellent.
What's that smell?
How did it go?
Yeah. All right. Ooh.
Whoa, look at that!
A water bomb. Okay.
Another discovery!
A glue bomb. The true victor. Nope.
That's splendid.
All right. Yeah. Max stars. Sweet. And break time. Phew. That was a lot of potions.
Well done.
I am impressed. You have improved your alchemy skills tremendously already.
I'm glad.
It's all thanks to your help, Elizabeth. I appreciate the flattery, but don't sell yourself short, dear. You have been working very hard for this.
About that.
With this level of progress, you'll be able to make that potion of invisibility easy peasy. Though I'm still a bit confused as to how you came up with such a potion, Elizabeth. Turning invisible seems closer to my kind of magic than alchemy.
I see.
I didn't develop this recipe without a bit of help. A spirit mage I knew at the time introduced me to the subtle illusion magic spirits use to stay hidden. With his help, I was able to mimic the spell with alchemy. On a much more limited scale, of course. What do you mean by limited scale?
So that's how it is.
A spirit like mine can stay invisible for hours on end without much strain. This potion is highly fragile. It has to be used almost as soon as it is done brewing, and the effects only last for about an hour. You have to plan ahead if you want to use it effectively.
Really?
A spirit mage? I don't think I've heard about them before. They are a branch of the nature mages, exceedingly rare. They have a natural talent for communing with spirits. They are seen as quite dangerous by the Empire, and are therefore kept tightly monitored in the capital.
Oh,
I see.
thank you.
Thank you for all of this, Elizabeth. I'm sure the Potion of Invisibility is going to be a great help for us in getting inside Goldner's mansion. Don't underestimate the man, Alex. The potion might help you, but I doubt getting in will be the only challenge you will face in there. Goldner might be a fool, but he is a paranoid one, which makes him very dangerous. I just don't understand that guy. What does he get out of all this? So much hate. I've been living in this town long enough to know Nicholas Goldner, back when his family name was still Boulder. He's had the need to appear bigger than he is. His father was the same, though that really doesn't excuse it. When he suddenly became the richest man in town overnight, that seemed to trigger something inside him. He went from being simply unpleasant to being vengeful and paranoid. In the end, I think beneath his wealth, Goldner is just a very small and lonely man.
Oh,
I see. Yeah, I mean, I could and still be perfectly blunt and call him an asshole. Yeah, I'm gonna do it because, let's face it, dude's a fucking asshole. Doesn't change the fact that he's a horrible man who's done awful things to you and Quinn.
Yes.
You are right. The man Goldner does not deserve our sympathy. He's had many chances in his life to go down a different path, but he chose not to.
Villains are not born. They are made.
Very true, Elizabeth.
That does not mean you should pity the villain.
Mm-hmm.
It means you should be concerned about how the next one is made.
Yeah, valid point. Valid point. But that's enough of me talking for now, I believe. Go on. I'm sure you have other things to attend to.
I did it.
I have all the ingredients for the Potion of Invisibility.
Well done.
We can make the potion now, but remember, it has to be used right after it's made. Are you sure you and the others are ready? Any other preparations you need to complete? Yeah, what's this?
About that.
Yeah.
I'll be.
Good luck.
Yeah, I'm just going to take a quick peek around and yep, we're good. Yep. Let's do this.
Welcome back.
I did it.
Well,
I'll do it.
I'm ready. Let's do this.
I see.
Very well. Let's brew this potion then.
Whoa, look at that!
Okay, yeah, there's really nothing else here. Alright.
Patience, child.
Yeah.
Well done.
Alright. You brew the potion and pack it into your satchel. Good luck, Alex. Please be safe. Let's do this! Your group is standing in the shadows, watching the Goldner estate. A guard is stationed out front with even more, no doubt, waiting for you inside.
Didn't think I'd ever return to this place. Can't say I'm looking forward to it.
If you're getting cold feet, now's the time to say so.
Of course not. It's my fault we're here. It's only right that I help fix things.
Everyone knows the plan?
Don't get caught.
We use the Potion of Invisibility to sneak in. We locate the office. I take care of the magical safe. We take the artifact, and we leave before we're all discovered.
I do also like Michael's plan. Don't get caught. Let's make that let's make that part of Anne's plan. Don't get caught.
Thank you, Anne. Are you ready, alchemist?
This is it.
Let's do this. You drink the potion and watch in amazement as the group before you slowly fades away and disappears, leaving a ghostly outline.
How does this...
Well, this is unnerving to say the least.
Look,
Careful not to make any sounds as we move.
let's go, everyone.
You all sneak past the guard, holding your breath, and quietly enter the estate. As soon as you make it through the entrance, your eyes are assaulted by glaring splashes of gold, red, and purple. Yeah, especially that giant portrait there. Can we, paint a giant dick on his face or something? Seriously. The entrance hall is lavishly decorated with fine furniture and extravagant art pieces. Its very purpose is not to greet guests, but to be a showroom for displaying the owner's wealth.
Wow. This place is... wow.
Yeah.
Those Goldner's tastes are rather gaudy, no?
Gaudy? Yes. Tasteless? Oh, fuck yeah.
You think? The colors kind of remind me of your coat.
Ouch.
We've got to go.
Let's save that discussion for later. We have places to be. You're right.
We don't have much time. Caden, take us to the office.
Yeah. Would love to get into a discussion about Michael's coat, but yeah, we're on the clock here, people.
Right this way.
Caden leads you through the gaudy hallways, over expensive carpets, and past precious paintings. You pass more guards patrolling the hallways, but your cloak of invisibility keeps you safe and out of sight. You make it to a finely carved oak door, and behind it you find a dark office. Caden hesitates before entering, his bright eyes looking around the empty space.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. It's odd being back in this space. It all looks the same, except...
He walks over to the huge painting taking up almost all of the back wall. Golden's smug face grins down from the most hideous portrait you have ever seen.
That painting wasn't there before. I think I would have remembered that.
It seems almost too obvious. But the more I learn about the man, the less it surprises me. Let's move the painting and see what he's hiding.
Victoria and Caden step up on either side of the painting and lift, easily moving it aside. And you are not at all surprised to find a safe hidden behind.
Is it?
Oh, it's magic, all right. A key combination. This is troublesome. He actually went and bought something that's fairly high quality. It's not going to be easy to open.
You can't tinker it free somehow?
Not without setting off the alarm.
We could just take the entire safe. You know.
Wow, Michael, I get that you're essentially a chaos mage and all, but how the fuck do you propose taking an entire freaking safe? Huh?
We're supposed to leave no traces, remember?
Valid point, Victoria.
Then, we've got to find the code for this lock.
Good grief.
What to do now? You walk over to the desk. It's a large oak piece, well kept, or unused. There are a few stacks of papers and letters piled in the center. No pictures or personal items have been set out for decoration, but you do notice a golden peacock figurine carrying a fist-sized crystal orb. You rummage through the papers and letters strewn around, pausing when your hand touches a letter that's sealed with the same emblem as the one on An's uniform. Dear Messer Goldner, thank you for your purchase of the Magic Beads lock. Remember, it is important you memorize the code to ensure optimal security. Do not write the code down anywhere people might see, as this would be easy for intruders to find. Kind regards, the Locksmith Guild. That's all you find on the desk. There's a faint white mist swirling calmly within the orb, and you don't need to be a mage to figure out that it's of magical origin. It looks very much like Victoria's Orb of Communication, but how did Goldner acquire one of those? You know, the letter makes sense, saying basically, don't keep the code anywhere, written down anywhere that some schmuck can find it. Otherwise, what would be the point of keeping the lock, Let's take a look. The bookshelves lining the walls are stacked with heavy books with beautifully engraved spines. Upon closer inspection, though, you discover that they are all completely untouched, more for decoration than actual use.
Why would you?
Why bother investing in all these books if he was never going to use them? You take a closer look at the painting that was hiding in the safe. Something is carved into the frame. A weird pattern that looks kind of similar to the lock. I kind of figured that the painting was going to be the clue, but, the way to go forward. But, gotta investigate everything!
I wonder.
I think this might be a clue.
Let me take a look.
Let me see that. Anne takes the note from your hand. Well, it's a cipher. It looks like it fits the lock, but this is only the first half. I wonder if he put the second part down somewhere else.
About that.
There was a painting similar to this one down in the main foyer. Maybe he wrote it on that one? Wait, there's no way he would be that stupid. Would he? This is Goldner we're talking about. The man has more money than brain cells. And he definitely has more money than brain cells. There's only one way to find out. We don't have a lot of time left, so we should split up to cover more ground. I'll go investigate the painting. Caden, I'll come with you. You shouldn't be going alone. We'll see if you can keep up. I'll stay here with the safe. Perhaps there's still something to be learned from it. Then I'll stay by your side, making sure you don't get surprised by a patrolling guard. As long as you let me work in peace. Alex? No, I gotta go with... Anne should be okay. She's not one to take Michael's BS. Yeah.
I'll do it.
I'll go and look for the code with you. I'm coming too. Okay, let's get going then. Stay safe. You leave the office and make your way back into the main hall. Victoria and Caden move like shadows, gliding down the hall, checking for signs of life.
It's quiet.
For now.
Maybe the guards are asleep?
Don't be ridiculous.
I wouldn't be surprised. From what I saw while I was held captive, the guards of this place are mostly townsfolk in uniforms.
And yet you got captured?
Being knocked out by a wayward spell made fighting back rather difficult.
He does raise a valid point there.
Fair, I suppose.
You make your way back into the main hall. The painting is still hanging there, Goldner's smug grin smiling at no one in the dark. I feel for the poor artist who had to sit through that ordeal. I can't imagine Goldner being a very pleasant patron to work for, no. You look over the painting carefully and are delighted to find another pattern painted down in the corner. That man really is something. To make such a simple mistake is incredibly sloppy. Just arrogant enough to believe that no one would notice.
I don't understand.
How did such a man even come to possess this kind of power? It is strange. With the next clue fresh in your mind, you turn and begin making your way back. By the time you are close enough to spot the office again, you notice how the shimmer around your hands is fading away. We're out of time. Victoria notes grimly, just as Caden stops abruptly and you flinch at the sound of a bell-like jingle. You turn to Victoria, who has gone pale, opening up her jacket to pull out her orb of communication, but the sphere is silent. The sound is coming from somewhere else.
Who the bloody hell is calling this time of night?
Uh-oh. You hear shuffling and stomping steps coming towards the door to your right. Victoria and Caden instantly dive for cover. Gotta follow, hold the boy toy. You don't even have time to react before Caden's arm is around your waist. You are pulled into what you can only assume is some kind of closet. The door slams shut after you, and you are crammed up in a tight space that smells like laundry, with Caden's towering body pressed firmly into yours. All words fail you, and you feel your face burning. He is so much taller than you, basically dwarfing you in the tight space. It's a miracle the door could even close. His glowing blue eyes have taken a warmer hue and are staring intensely at the door as the sound of Goldner's cursing becomes louder. Caden is breathing slowly, his eyes closed, and you notice with surprise his markings fade to a barely visible glow, effectively shrouding you in darkness. I
Can't believe these people. They sleep. It's better be something important.
The sound of his voice fades as he disappears down the hall and, you assume, into the office. You briefly wonder whether Anne and Michael had time to properly hide, when a soft hiss draws your attention back up to Caden.
Are you okay?
Caden, are you okay? I'm fine. Sorry for worrying you. Just give me a moment. The color slowly returns to him, and he breathes a sigh of relief. He then notices how tightly he is holding you and blanches. Let's, get out of here, yes? The two of you stumble out of the tight space into the hallway, miraculously stopping yourselves from making any noise. Right. Let's just find the others and get out of here before anything else happens. The two of you flinch at the sound of something shattering. Looking down the hall, you see Victoria and mine. Both of you are both standing with a look of absolute panic in front of the door to the office, staring at a potted plant that lies shattered on the floor. What the? It doesn't take much to figure out the two of them had been spying on Goldner inside the office, and by the sound of hurried steps, they were found out.
We have to help.
We have to do something. Already on it. You jump out of the way of Caden, who's grabbed a blanket from the closet. He rushes forward, and you watch as he tackles Goldner as soon as he pokes his nose out the door, throwing the cloth over him and grappling him.
Hey!
Yeah, what the? Let go of me this instant! Goldner struggles against his captor, but Caden holds fast, looking increasingly more panicked as he realizes what he has done.
Mercy, Midas. What are we doing?
This is it.
We have to hide him somewhere, quickly.
Well,
There was a closet in the hall?
Fine.
Got it.
You!
Let go of me, you savages! Thieves! Murderers! Victoria and Caden haul Goldner down to the closet and throw him inside, blocking the door with a dresser. I could, make up a sleeping drought and toss that in with him. You know, really knock his ass out. So much for being stealthy. Time to move. The office door slams shut behind you, and Caden makes quick work of locking and blocking it. It's only a matter of time before Goldner's yelling will alert someone else in the mansion. Anne pokes her head out from under the desk, raising a brow at your disheveled state. What happened to you?
By the gods.
To put it bluntly, we just shoved Goldner into a closet. We should finish this up now. Victoria looks around, frowning when coming up short.
Michael, I swear.
Where's Michael? There's a flash of light, and Michael appears in front of the bookcase, grinning like a madman.
Everyone, you are not going to believe what we just found. What's going on here?
I don't even... I'm not gonna ask. Let's just get this safe open and get out of here before things become difficult.
You've got the code?
How curious.
Here. He really did just put it down on the other painting. Such an odd man. His arrogance is to our advantage. Alex, if you please. Alright. Okay. This is going to be fun. Alright. Okay. What is 6? Alright. Okay, where? Okay. Crap. Did I mess this up already? No. Okay. Everything can be fixed. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Okay, we got 5 and 3. Did I mess this up? No. There's got to be a way. we need to get 6 back. There's 6. Okay, cool. Inside is a sword broken in half, made from bone. Caden reaches out with shaking hands and picks up the pieces.
It's broken.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry, Caden. No. It's my own pride that led to this.
I don't understand.
I just don't understand how this could happen. The dragon swords are the most powerful artifacts my people have constructed. A simple banishing seal should not be able to shatter one like this.
Let me take a look.
That's because this is no normal banishing seal. Anne holds up what appears to be a map that was also still locked away in the safe. A map of the mines.
What?
Please explain, Anne. Look at the way the ore is structured. This is way too perfect to be an organic occurrence. You say that people used to use places with natural ore for this kind of seal, yes?
Well...
Right. Well, what if it was the other way around? What if someone created the entire network of ore in the region and shaped it into this structure? By the 7.
Actually,
If my theory is correct, then this town, the entire valley, is resting upon a giant alchemy locket.
So,
Let's all try to keep a level head. This is huge, but it doesn't change the fact that we have to find a way to stop this, yes? You're right. Something like this cannot possibly be allowed to get free. What do you think, Anne? Is it possible to fix a seal this big?
seems logical.
I think so. I'll need to make some calculations. We should bring the map back with us.
Let's see.
Since no one wants to point out the obvious, isn't it rather suspicious that Golna is in possession of such a map? It's almost as if he knew all along that his business was destroying what I assume is the continent's largest demon prison.
Golden will pay for this.
We'll deal with him and his involvement in this when we have successfully prevented the catastrophe.
Huh.
Very well, Madam Knight, if you say so.
Okay.
Taking the map seems to be the best course of action. If he wants to make a fuss about these being missing, he'd have to explain just what these things are. He won't back himself into a corner like that. Now, let's get out of here. As she speaks the words, you suddenly hear yelling outside, feet rushing down the hall.
Why, you...
Thieves! What are you waiting for, you idiots? Break down the door! We're trapped! Oh no, what do we do?
Here.
This way, everyone. I found us a way out.
Really?
Just where did you disappear off to a moment ago, Michael? Why don't I show you? Michael walks back over to the wall, holding up his hands as something begins to glow. A sigil of some sort. What's that? I think I've seen that symbol before.
Look.
It's an illusion, hiding quite the little secret. Michael touches the symbol and the entire wall gives way, opening up to reveal a stone staircase leading down. What in the world?
This is...
Why would there be something like that here? Someone crashes into the door and the hinges creak ominously.
I've gotta go.
We can investigate that later. Right now, we need to stay safe. Right. What we find down there can't possibly be scarier than what's up here. Right? There's a flash of light and you're all dragged forward into the bookcase. You all stumble into a dark, dusty hallway, the secret door swinging shut behind you.
I don't understand.
Just what is this place? Seems like an escape tunnel. They're quite common in noble houses, as a safety measure against a peasant revolt. But it only opened when Michael touched it? It looked like some kind of magic lock.
Enough of this.
We will investigate this later. Victoria gives Michael a pointed look. But for now, we should just get out of here. We got what we came for.
Okay.
I agree. We've made enough noise for one night, I think. You can say that again. Let's go. The tunnel continues down and away. You hurry along, but hear no signs of Goldner and his men are following you. It appears you are safe. For now. The forest is pitch black, the crowns of the trees obscuring any light the moon might have provided. You step out of a doorway in a large oak tree, the magic door snapping shut behind you when Michael is as the last one steps through.
That's a relief.
Finally, no more tunnels. Mime hugs the nearest tree in relief, but the rest of your group is less than ecstatic. Caden, in particular, is staring at the broken remains of his sword with a faraway look in his eyes.
I'm sorry. I've led you on a fruitless chase. And for what?
Actually,
I wouldn't say that. Anne walks up to the Outlander and picks up the hilt of the sword from his hand to study it curiously. We did learn more about what we're dealing with. We might be able to salvage something from this situation yet.
How curious.
That's uncharacteristically optimistic of you, Anne. Are you sure you're not just saying it so you can tinker away at Caden's broken sword?
believe this.
That's not... It's merely a professional curiosity and nothing else. Good grief.
Well,
We might not have gotten exactly the outcome we wanted, but we got out unscathed. That's all that matters. Alex is right. Even if it wasn't exactly a smooth heist, we just broke into a mansion together. I'd say we did pretty awesome, all things considered. You might say that we were a bunch of phantom thieves. Mime, no. You return home. Chapter 3, A Secret of Blood.
so I called you all here to talk about what I've discovered.
After you return from your successful heist, you decide to lay low for a bit to recover and go through the evidence you've uncovered. When Anne eventually calls a meeting, you enter her lab to find the place plastered with notes and drawings. The mage is holding a cup of strong-smelling coffee, and her voice seems a tad more on the shrill side than usual. Anne, did you sleep at all? The answer is probably no. I've been examining this map we found at Goldner's mansion, and I'm confident in my initial theory that the underground of the mountain is, in fact, a giant seal keeping these demons trapped. The positive news is that the seal is so damaged that the damage is only minimal, which is why we've only seen a few demons leak out into the town.
Oh, really?
I think we've encountered, 4 of these things so far? I wouldn't call that minimal. Boy, do I have bad news for you then. The massive scale of the seal suggests there are many, many more demons lying in wait on the other side, ready to be let loose. Victoria shifts her stance slightly, looking uncomfortable.
I just don't understand.
When I told Goldner that the mining was disrupting the seal, he refused to believe me. But it turns out he had this map proving it all along? You'd
be surprised how many people are able to bend their own reality to pretend they are not doing anything wrong.
In other words, I reject your reality and substitute my own. He probably thinks this is all some big mage conspiracy. He was trying to get the knights to come and investigate. They won't come. What? Althea and the Paragon himself are determined to keep this under wraps. More knights would complicate this.
I can't believe this.
They can't just turn a blind eye to what's happening here and expect it to go away.
They're not. They're waiting for us to fix it for them.
How does this...
But why take this risk? What are they afraid of?
How about that?
I don't know, but I intend to find out. Her tone makes everyone pause. Not even Michael dares to comment. But that's for me to figure out. Anne, please continue.
That's not all.
So, yeah, getting back on topic, Caden's idea of fixing the broken part of the seal still seems like our safest bet. But knowing what we do now about the sheer scale of this seal, it's clear that he never had the power needed to repair it. I mean, the entire valley is all just part of this huge spell. A single dragon sword isn't going to cut it. What are you saying? I'm saying you're pretty lucky that miner interrupted you when he did, because the ritual never would have worked in the first place. Most likely, the sword would have had its power sucked out completely, and the spell would have taken your life force with it, before doing Althros knows what to the surrounding area. Instead, it rebounded and drew its missing energy from another power source. Basically, sucking it through the roots like a straw.
Oh.
The forest.
I don't understand.
What are you talking about?
I see.
A big part of the woods had its life force drained from it all of a sudden. Seems like it was caused by your ritual.
Really?
Wait, what? So Caden was the one behind the wilting of the forest? Caden gets up and abruptly stomps out from the shop. Hey, wait, you can't just... Victoria gets up to follow, but Michael just puts a hand on her shoulder, halting her. Let him go. He needs a moment to let that one settle. Even in this state, he's no fool. He won't get caught again. Victoria shrugs off his hand, but stays put for now.
Look.
You should probably go talk with him later, Alex. Though, for now, we really should figure out what to do.
About that.
Right. Anne, what do you suggest? Is there a way to fix a seal this big? It's not going to be easy. I still need to study the seal in more detail. I'm certain of one thing, though. Whatever ritual we might end up using, it's going to need power. Like, a lot of it. And that's where our dear alchemist friend comes in.
So?
I'm ready. Just tell me what to do. I mentioned to you earlier that your spirit locket is quite special. The power it possesses grows stronger every time you seal away another demon, but you haven't yet accessed that power, and I'm starting to understand why. It's missing something. A few key components to connect the mechanism. It's quite odd, actually. It's almost like they used to be there, but have since been removed. I could take a closer look and build the missing pieces, but then we would still need more demons. Exactly. The main issue is a simple lack of power. We need more demons to fuel the spell needed for this.
Got it.
How many?
Let me take a look.
Alex already captured 4 demons. One more of the same size as the others might do the trick, though I could make a more precise calculation for you.
So that's how it is.
That won't be needed. We know what we have to do. Victoria's sharp eyes zero in on you, and you swallow.
This is it.
It's clear what must be done then.
Not bad.
I'm glad you see it that
This
way.
is the plan.
The hunt begins in the morning. You better rest up and prepare.
Actually,
I would also like a bit of your time soon. There's still much to learn about your locket, and I'm eager to get started. So much for getting some rest. It's right back into the fire for us. The meeting concludes and everyone walks off to do their separate things. There's no sign of Caden.
Hear me out.
I'm kind of worried. We should go look for him, Alex. I agree. You shouldn't be out there alone. I'm worried.
Let's go.
Then let's go find him. Come on. The forest is ominously quiet at night, and Mime is walking very close to you as you step between the dead trees. Eventually, you spot the familiar glow of Caden's markings. He's standing by one of the dead trees, deep in thought. Then he turns around and punches the trunk, and it cracks, leaving a deep dent in the dry wood. Okay. Maybe you should be the one talking to him. Yes, one person is probably best. Wow, Mime, when you threw me under the bus just now, did you go overhand or do the fireman carry throw? Just want to know for future reference. I'll just be standing over here. Whatever protest you had doesn't matter, because Mime's already gone. Because, of course. Nothing to do but approach him on your own. You walk up to him carefully.
So,
Hey there, Caden. Are you alright? Caden whips around to face you, visibly startled. Alex, what are you doing? Sorry, I didn't mean for you to see that. What are you even doing out here alone? It isn't safe.
about that.
I was worried about you. Do you want to talk about it?
I see.
You don't have to do that. I don't want to burden you with my worries.
You see.
I care about you, Caden, and I'm concerned about what's happening. You smile gently, and Caden blinks and then looks away, flustered. You care for me? Of course. Now tell me what's going on. He's going purple again. He's blushing. Caden takes a deep breath and looks around at the dead trees. He looks so very pained.
The elders at home always tell me I act too rashly, that I am too emotional when making decisions. They were right. Look at this mess. The forest was ruined because I wanted to play at being the hero.
You were just trying to help, though. No one could have predicted things turning out the way they did.
But it was predicted. Foretold, even. And I am sorry, friend. But I haven't been honest with you. I wasn't sent by my people to solve this. In fact, they forbade me from going, predicting that something like this would happen. And yet, I went anyway.
Given what you went through with Goldner, I can hardly blame you for not trusting us at first.
You are way too forgiving.
It's because you're adorable.
I deceived you in order to hide my mistakes. But even that failed miserably. The sword is broken. There's no hiding anymore. I never had the right to wield that blade. I took it, thinking the end result would be worth breaking a few rules for. I was arrogant, and this forest paid the price for my foolishness. I cannot return to my people in such disgrace. I honestly don't know what to do from here.
Your choice will impact Peyton's path choosing going forward. Stop caring about what other people think and move forward on your own, or move forward and fix your mistakes. You know what? If you admit that you fucked up, then you work to fix the fuck up.
You can't just keep wallowing in your own self-pity. You made a mistake. Well, so does everyone. But if you want the people at home to forgive you, then you gotta work for it. Be someone they can be proud of. If you want them to accept you.
You are right. Of course you are. I cannot give up now. They say rock bottom is a sturdy foundation. Thank you for making me see that all is not yet lost.
Keaton smiles and places a hand on the wounded tree trunk.
I will fix this mistake, one step at a time. I will right these wrongs. Thank you, my friend.
I'm happy I was able to help.
You smile and Keaton blinks down at you for a few months, flushing slightly red. Then he turns away with a cough, shifting to look out into the dark forest.
Anyway, I think we should head back now. Mime has been hiding behind that tree for a while now. It must be uncomfortable.
Wait, you knew I was there?
Your appearance isn't exactly nondescript, is it?
Look who's talking.
The three of you return to the shop to rest.
To hide behind a smile. It's such an odd topsider phrase. I never quite understood it. But I think I might get it now. Pardon? There are those among my people who wish to hide the glow of their markings. Not to stay hidden, but to hide certain emotions they might not want others to see. Hiding your light takes years of practice. So, some instead burn brighter, latching onto one specific emotion and using that light to obfuscate whatever might really be there. To hide behind a smile. It's interesting to know topsiders do the same thing.
I feel oddly attacked right now.
Alright, so I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this and you're watching on Twitch, make sure you hit the follow button so you know when I'll be streaming next. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you know when the next episode goes live. Until next time, this has been Breakman Z saying thank you so much for watching, and as always, may your save files never be corrupted. Take care, everyone.